Okay, so the Tyson Fury Anthony Joshua situation. Frank Warren set a deadline of yesterday for, I guess, Team AJ, Eddie Hearn, etc., to agree to their terms, or Fury's going to move on and look to fight somebody else in December instead, or perhaps late November. Now, the sticking point apparently was the date because Frank Warren and Fury wanted to fight in, as I say, late November or early December, whereas Eddie Hearn wanted, and I guess AJ wanted to fight on December 17th. So that's one of the sticking points. The other sticking point was the split in the rematch. So in the first fight, it would be 60-40 to Tyson Fury, but Team AJ want the split reversed. If AJ was to beat Fury in the first fight, they want the split reversed in the rematch. And according to Hearn, Tyson Fury requested the rematch. So we've heard all this stuff about from Bob Arum saying that rematch clauses are killing the game and blah, blah, blah. And here we have one of his fighters, Tyson Fury, requesting a rematch if he were to fight AJ, a guy who's coming off 2 losses. Now, in principle, I have no issue with rematch clauses for voluntary defenses, and this would be a voluntary defense for Tyson Fury. I just find it ironic that Fury acts as though AJ's got absolutely no chance against him whatsoever. Frank Warren is basically saying the same thing, Bob Arum, everybody else, but yet Fury requests a rematch clause to be in the contract if he fights AJ again, even though he's coming off 2 losses. Now, can they get these issues resolved? Have they got the issues resolved? Are we going to hear today or tomorrow that Team Fury have moved on? Maybe. Now, whose fault is it? Why did Frank Warren put this deadline on it? Well, ostensibly, they want to get the fight locked in now because they're on a schedule and they believe they're going to fight Alexander Usyk in the early part of 2023. And so if there's any more heel dragging or stalling of negotiations, then it's going to mess up their schedule. So that's the reason that Frank Warren says it's got to be sorted out today or we're moving on. Normally, I don't like hearing deadlines of 24 hours either sign. I mean, it's literally been a few days since Tyson Fury issued the challenge, and then his promoter comes out and says, sign today or we're moving on. I normally don't like hearing that kind of thing because that tends to signify that it's just a publicity stunt and they're not really serious when they're putting these ridiculous deadlines with a very short period of negotiation on a fight. But in this particular instance, I can't say that it's that because, again, they are on the schedule apparently, and they apparently want to fight Usyk in the early part of 2023. So I can't say that it's a publicity stunt at this point anyway. Now, there's also the possibility that Hearn and AJ don't really want the fight and it's them that's bluffing. And look, I've got no doubt that Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua wanted the fight last year, the year before, and the year before that. They put their money where their mouth is, so to speak, by running around all over the world, Eddie Hearn did in 2021, trying to get the Tyson Fury fight done, speaking to different people, going to different countries, trying to sort out site fees. Eddie Hearn did all that last year. So there's no doubt they were serious about the fight then. And obviously, I wanted to see the fight desperately then. I've always wanted an undisputed champion. That's been the top of the list in terms of my priorities. But, we all know the story behind that. It didn't happen because of the Wilder arbitration and whatever. This time, however, Anthony Joshua is not a champion. So him fighting Tyson Fury doesn't give us an undisputed. Furthermore, Anthony Joshua is coming off 2 losses. He's just had a mental breakdown in the ring. His confidence is rock bottom. I would rather see Tyson Fury fight somebody coming off wins. I would rather see Tyson Fury fight somebody whose confidence is on a high, not someone whose confidence is on the floor, who's just had a breakdown. So if the fight doesn't happen right now, I'm not particularly bothered, to be honest with you, because I don't think we're seeing AJ in his best mind frame and in the best state to go in there and take on a guy like Tyson Fury. I mean, even when he fought Kubrat Pulev, I wasn't particularly impressed with what I saw in the ring that night from AJ. I thought that he looked tense and nervous, and he was still dealing with the demons, the ghosts from the Andy Ruiz fight. And I said in the post-fight video at the time, this version of Anthony Joshua doesn't stand much chance against Tyson Fury. And look, even if you think any version of Anthony Joshua can't beat Tyson Fury, I at least want to see a version who is at his best, because that means he's got a better chance than the version we see right now, whose confidence is low. You know, so much of boxing is mental. It's not just physical. You have to have your confidence high, your self-belief. You know, you have to feel happy, riding the crest of a wave. That's when you're going to put in your best performances more often than not. So if the fight don't happen now, I'm not particularly bothered. I wanted to see it last year desperately because it was an undisputed fight. This time it wouldn't be. So whatever, both fighters move on. And as I say, perhaps AJ and Eddie Hearn aren't really serious anyway, because they know that AJ's not in a fit state to be taking this fight mentally, that he needs some tune-up fights and confidence builders or what have you. And there's several people in the boxing industry who are saying the same thing. So for example, Manny Robles, who obviously trained Andy Ruiz to beat Anthony Joshua in New York, he says that AJ should not take the Fury fight next, and that he should, I think he said it maybe in a year's time or something, look at the Fury fight. Similar situation with Anthony Crolla. He says that AJ shouldn't take it. Okay, maybe should take it next year. If he was advising AJ, don't take it now, because again, you need to rebuild your confidence. Bob Arum here was asked about the fight. He said he doesn't think it happens. He doesn't think Team AJ and Eddie Hearn are serious about the fight, and that AJ needs to rebuild. He needs to come back with some confidence builders. That's what Bob Arum said. I completely agree. You know, and again, it all comes down to why Tyson Fury would call out AJ when he's coming off 2 losses. What's that all about? You've had opportunities to fight AJ in the past. Facts. Yet the fight didn't happen, and it weren't AJ or Matchroom's fault. So, you know, why would Tyson Fury use this opportunity? Why would Tyson Fury time it in such a way that he's calling out AJ and giving him this date, and his promoter is making an actual offer right when AJ's lost twice? Come on. It's very cynical stuff, but that's my take on it. Let me know your take in the comment section below. Are you disappointed? Will you be disappointed if the fight doesn't happen, let's say in December, November, whatever? Will you be disappointed? Or are you like me, thinking that you'd rather see Tyson Fury fight somebody who's on the up, somebody whose confidence is high, someone who isn't coming off 2 losses, someone who didn't just have a breakdown in the ring, someone who's got themselves together? That's what I would rather see. If you'd rather see that as well, let me know. And before I go, something completely unrelated. For those of you who are into true crime, grisly stories about various criminals and what have you, then you might want to check out G-Man's True Crime channel. Yes, he does have a true crime channel. I've left the link in the description below. Go check it out. You know, if you're like Malevin, shout out to anyone who knows about Malevin. I like crime. I make oven on. I like crime. Almost most of my life, I like crime. Yeah, anyone who knows about Malevin, shout out to you. But check out G-Man's True Crime channel. Link in the description below. If you're tired of the biased narratives and mass censorship on mainstream platforms, and you want to be part of a community of critical thinkers who love free speech just as much as you do, then come and join me on Patreon and access my weekly no-holds-barred, censorship-free podcast where we lift the lid on a wide variety of controversial topics. It's not mainstream friendly, it's not politically correct, but that's the whole point. We dare to stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. Just head on over to my Patreon page and select the tier called Hatman Hot Topics. You'll gain access to a minimum of 2 hours of exclusive content every single week, including podcasts, videos, interviews, live stream Q&As, as well as my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. not to mention a vast back catalog of hundreds of hours of previous episodes. You can listen via the Patreon app with the option to download in high quality MP3. We've also got an Element group where you can come and chat and hang out with myself and other members. Unlike Discord, it has full end-to-end encryption, is decentralized, and is 100% censorship free. You can also send voice notes as well as much larger audio and video files than you can on Discord. So come and sign up on Patreon. There's no contract, there's no commitment. You can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a cup of coffee. So I'll see you over there. I'm out.